ndiyayenza baby man.
7 minutes ngoku.
Skhu.
Uzorela ukugqibela kaloku wena.
Ithini?
7 minutes left.
Xa uhambe kaloku uyandiphazamisa ndizoyenza ibanjani 7 minutes yam xa uthetha.
Ibra iwephi indawo into laa nto.
Yho Skhu, irongo endiyenzayo. Do we have to?
Vuka sikukhawulezisa.
Okay, kaloku.
It's 30 minutes, 4 kilometers, which is good.
Yeah, that's good. There's going to go at 31. And
Yeah, let's go. Let's push.
Cover go stop there.
Go James.
I'll go put it.
Timfiza kile.
Takeoff, live and exclusive to Radio 2000, 97.2 to 100 FM nationwide.
So it is the 1st of December, World AIDS Day. And I mean, South Africa has the highest HIV epidemic in the world, with 7.7 million people living with HIV. But this is a conversation that we absolutely have to be having. And on the line, we have an incredible woman who really speaks her truth and empowers other people in the process. Mayaba. She actually has a very interesting story. She's an author and an HIV activist. Hi, Nozi, how are you?
Hi, sis. I'm good. How are you?
Welcome.
Good, thank you. Nozi, first of all, I mean, your story is quite poignant, and the fact that you were one of those girls who was, had those values instilled about wait until you're married, and you did.
Yeah.
But then eventually somebody came who swept you off your feet, who promised you the world
Yes.
and marriage, and then what happened?
Okay, listen, as you say, I come from a very strict family, okay? My mom does not play. She's a typical black mom. You go to school, you come back. You don't do anything else, okay? You don't say, no, I'm going to sleep over at a friend's house. What friend, So I grew up in that kind of a setup that, and also the values that were instilled in me, wait for marriage, wait for the right guy. But here's the thing, I was not told how that guy would look like. So the first person that came to me and said, listen, I'm gonna marry you, I thought to myself, this is it, and I didn't think twice about it. All the values that were taught, like they went out of the window. And I thought to myself, listen, this person has already made a commitment to me that they're going to marry me. So whether it happens now or in 2 years' time, it doesn't really make a difference. So that's how I gave myself to that person without even testing together. And a year later, while at work, I tested HIV positive.
I did not plan out to write a book. I did not plan out to do all of this. It just happened. What I wanted is for me to be okay. Like, that's all that mattered to me. And when I went to a therapist, they were like, listen, just write how you're feeling. Stop bottling everything in. Because you need to remember also, I didn't tell my family up until late last year. Like, for 7 years, my family did not know what was going on. 7 years full. And they thought I was the same person, but then I would go to sleep and I'll cry my eyes out and then pretend that I was fine the following morning. So when my therapist started encouraging me just to write and all of that, it was only, I think, late 2018 when I looked at some of the things that I was writing and that I had written and the journey that I had traveled. And I thought to myself, how many of me that are in a similar situation that do not have anyone to speak to. Here I am in a better position now. Literally, my story could be a manual for someone else. For that lady in corporate that everyone else is going to say, hi, but when in medical aid, how could you be so naive?
I didn't even want to, that's the thing, should have known better. You don't even sound like someone that would make that kind of mistake. And I think that's the problem.
No, listen, it's very funny because when people talk to me about HIV and it's the type of questions like, no, but no, is there still stigma in 2020? I'm like, guys, when you talk about stigma and we talk about ignorance, it's way back, like in the 1980s when we were introduced to HIV. When we didn't know anything about it, we think you're gonna die, you can't touch a person. The stigma is different. Do you get what I mean? The stigma is around, you should have known better. You should have known better. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? So that's why people don't want to come forward because they're afraid of that. So there's still ignorance that, hi ban, it's just one encounter. You're not gonna get HIV, but you don't realize that it's just that one encounter that you may get infected.
With a YouTube channel of over 68,000 subscribers and 1.5 million views, Nozibela has made it a mission to hold open conversations about her journey living with HIV. The YouTube channel was named by FeedSpot as one of the top 15 HIV YouTube channels on the web. Nozibela is the South African International Youth Committee Ambassador and an active member of the International Youth Forum. And of course, she's from Port Elizabeth. We say good morning.
Hi, listen, I shall call you guys every morning so that you can have a nice introduction for me because that was beautiful, okay? I shall call you guys every morning, honestly. No, definitely. Thank you so much, guys, for having me. Listen, I've always been someone that I don't believe that I was just born just in J, just to live, you know. I believe I was born for a purpose. So throughout my whole life, I've always engaged myself in community development, particularly when it comes to young people coming together and making a change. So the International Youth Committee and the International Youth Forum are such platforms where people are like young people around the world gather together. I mean, I remember last year, the year before, we were gathered in Egypt, like literally thousands and thousands, but 5,000 young people coming together, talking about the things that affect us and how we can be the change and be the decision makers. So that has been my work and representing South Africa in these platforms. Finish my interviews, now going to the office, going to finish more interviews. It's a beautiful day. Comes from the blood, it never fails. Saving power comes from the blood, it flows eternally. Healing power comes from the blood, it never fails. Saving power comes from the blood, it flows eternally. Shall never lose its power. The blood of Jesus shall never. Hey, Jesus.
Actually having the conversation. So we got into that thinking that, okay, no, people can eat ARVs, there's condoms available, so everyone should be fine. You know, everyone should be fine, but actually no one is fine. So I think those are some of the dangers that we've become so ignorant because we're thinking to ourselves, no, ARVs are available, condoms are available, then everyone should be fine.
After today's session, you won't be the same again in terms of your thoughts around wellness and most importantly, hearing from someone sharing their personal story in terms of their journey living positively. Just in terms of etiquette, from an MS team's perspective, I do request you please to remain on mute throughout the session. And then should you at any moment have a question, we have a special guest with us today. So she will be sharing her life story, as I said earlier, in terms of how she has then lived positively with HIV. So just a short bio in terms of who she is. Nozibele, also known as Nozi, is the South African International Youth Committee Ambassador and an active member of the International Youth Forum. She's received a number of accolades, such as being listed in the Nelson Mandela Business Chamber Top 40, Under 40, Businesswomen Association of South Africa Regional Achievers Award,
the Fruits of Democracy Awards for Excellence in Civil Society, and the Vision for Women Beyond the Balance Sheet finalist. This is a YouTube channel that is based on her life living positively with HIV. And then in January of 2020 this year, her channel was named by FeedSpot as one of the top 15 HIV YouTube channels on the web. And that is not it. She also, over and above that, has a book which is entitled I Am Still Me, which is based on her life living with HIV after being diagnosed in August of 2013.
The misconception of how we should handle the HIV pandemic, is the impression that it's one size fit all. It's abstain, have one partner, wear a condom, get tested, then everything should be fine. But let's talk about it. Of 7 million people living with HIV in South Africa, about 4.7 million are women aged 15 and above. Men aged 15 and above account to about 2.5 million of the total number. Immediately when we evaluate these numbers, we see the need to target young women and children because they are the one mostly affected. We invest money in making sure that they are tested, have easy access to treatment, etc. But as someone that has worked on the ground, I know that this is not the reality. Yes, we do all these interventions, they are necessary, but it is not really where the real issue is. Let me make an example. A woman who tests positive at a clinic, by chance she's pregnant, and it's a procedure that she should test HIV positive. She should test for an HIV as well. They receive the necessary counseling and advice to start treatment. Furthermore, they're encouraged to bring in their partner the next time they come in for their consultation. She goes back home, she discloses her status. Her partner, her male partner, is in denial. He refuses to go and test. She is then told that she brought the HIV into the household. All forms of abuse starts. Whenever she needs to take medication, she must hide for her own safety because there should not be ARVs in this house. The nurse would advise her to use a condom every time she engages in sex. Yet her partner refuses to wear a condom because it's too tight. I'm not talking about statistics here, I'm talking about myself. Do you see how our interventions are mixed up? The mobilization of men and boys is an important component of our response. But I shy away sometimes from saying this because I'm a woman and I am seen as being bitter because I was infected by men. But the sooner we realize that this is where it lies, this is where our response is going to be most effective. It is important that we engage our fathers, our brothers, our partners in changing their behavior more than protecting women and girls. If men's behavior changes, there will be no need to protect women and girls. We need this dialogue to be stronger when it comes to our brothers and fathers. Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a full day. I loved every minute of it. I'm tired. There's been a lot of talking today, but I'm grateful that everything went well. And yeah, I can't wait to work more, creating more awareness and taking this whole thing to greater heights. So I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. Until next time. Thanks guys.